Have you ever felt lost, hopeless, as if everything around you was falling apart? Know that even in the darkest moments, there is a light that can guide you. Do not let negative words shake your courage. Listen next to what Titus will tell you and see how divine strength can transform your life.
Do not let negative advice get you down, nor allow words of failure to weaken your courage. Even when everything seems confusing or out of control, whether in business, a project, or a life plan, know that there is always a way out, a possible solution. The divine force that sustains the universes also dwells within you. Connect to the universe with thoughts of kindness and love. It will strengthen your mind, bring clarity, and open paths where there was once only uncertainty. But how can we achieve the manifestation of divine presence in our lives? Follow the story Apollo will tell next and discover how this force can transform even the most difficult moments.
In a beautiful rural region, where red dirt roads snaked between hills and sun-twisted trees, there was a small farm that seemed forgotten by time. The soil, once fertile according to ancient accounts, now appeared tired, stony, and infertile. There lived Elijah, a young farmer with a restless soul and hands calloused prematurely. He had inherited those lands from his grandfather, a man known for his generosity and faith, whose stories of abundant harvests seemed to belong to a magical, almost mythical time. But for Elijah, reality was different. Every new season brought more frustration. Everything Elijah planted seemed to wither before his eyes. The seeds barely germinated. Rains came out of season. The land seemed to refuse to cooperate, as if it were resentful, or perhaps just thirsty for something more than water, perhaps for hope, perhaps for meaning. In the early years, Elijah still believed he could win with effort. He studied modern techniques, invested what he had, and what he didn't have, in special seeds, imported fertilizers, state-of-the-art irrigation systems. He spent sleepless nights watching videos, reading articles, planning harvests that never came. Each frustrated attempt weighed like a stone on his back. Bills piled up on his table, as did collection letters and the increasingly worried looks of his wife and children. The neighbors gossiped both to his face and behind his back. Elijah suffered. They said that piece of land was cursed, that it had brought only failure to anyone who dared to cultivate it. Some suggested he sell everything and try life in the city. Even his family began to doubt his persistence. His children no longer spoke hopefully of a future in the countryside. His wife, though silent, carried the shadow of disappointment in her eyes. Elijah felt alone. On certain days, he looked at the horizon with tear-filled eyes, asking God if this was truly the path he should follow. Why weren't the fruits coming? Why did the land seem dead beneath his feet? It was then, on a late afternoon with an orange sky, that Isaac appeared. A simple man, with calm speech and firm steps. Isaac was a middle-aged farmer, known in the area for his organized and productive property. More than that, he was recognized for his quiet faith, for his way of looking at things as one who sees beyond the visible. Isaac approached Elijah unhurriedly, as one who respects the other's time. "I've heard about your struggles, Elijah," he said with a serene smile. "And I know it's not easy to see dreams sink into dust. But I want to tell you one thing: don't let negative advice get you down. The divine force that sustains the universes also dwells within you. Connect with it through goodness, love, and patience." These words, spoken with gentleness and firmness, penetrated deep into Elijah's heart. For the first time in a long time, he felt truly understood. Not the failure he had become, but the man who was still trying to believe. Isaac offered his help. He brought no machines, no miraculous promises, but practical and spiritual wisdom. He taught Elijah to observe the soil more closely, to listen to the wind, to respect the cycles of the earth. He showed how to prepare the soil carefully, using natural composting and ancient management techniques. Together, they replanted patiently, watering not just with water, but with renewed faith. As they worked, Isaac told stories from the Bible, of men who overcame the impossible through faith. He spoke of Joseph in Egypt, David against Goliath, Nehemiah rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. Each story seemed to echo in Elijah's life, as if speaking directly to his pain. Elijah also learned to silence the outside voices. He stopped listening to criticism and ridicule. He began to wake up earlier, no longer out of desperation, but out of enthusiasm. He brought his children to the field, no longer to help him carry the burden, but to teach them to plant with purpose. The family, once scattered, began to gather at the table with new smiles. One morning, walking through the field with a lighter heart than usual, Elijah noticed something different. Between the furrows of the earth, where before there was only dust, small green leaves sprouted. They were fragile, still unsure, but they were alive. Elijah knelt and wept, not from sadness, but from gratitude. In the following weeks, the sprouts multiplied. The fields gained color and the smell of life. The trees began to bear fruit. The garden produced beyond expectations. The wind that once seemed dry now brought with it the scent of flowers. The harvests were enough to pay off some debts and keep the house supplied. More than that, a deeper change had happened. Elijah was no longer the same man. His eyes now reflected the faith that had grown within him, like the roots that had deepened in the earth. As months passed, with Isaac always nearby as counselor and friend, Elijah saw his property flourish as it had in his grandfather's time. But he didn't stop there. Remembering his own pain, he decided to open the doors of his farm to other farmers in the region. He created a small support center, where he shared techniques, stories, faith, and most importantly listening. There, sitting in circles under the trees or around a bonfire, men and women shared their struggles, learned together, and rediscovered the power of belief. Elijah knew, now with certainty, that the true fertility of the land begins in the heart of man. And so that once barren piece of land transformed not only into a place of abundant harvests, but into a living symbol of hope. It was no longer just a farm, it was a testament that faith, when planted with love and watered with persistence, can make even the driest deserts bloom. Keep watching as Titus will reveal what has been written for thousands of years about the divine presence in our lives. The biblical verses that underpin this message and how they can transform your life.
Amidst life's desires and joys, let us have the certainty that will sustain us, the permanent presence of God our Lord. He is with us in every moment, in every breath, in every step. And today, I want to share with you 3 passages that remind us of this powerful truth. The first passage is Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11, which tells us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." This passage reminds us that, even in times of difficulty, God has a plan for us. Just like Elijah, we can trust that there is a greater purpose in our struggles. Faith and perseverance are essential to overcome challenges and achieve a prosperous future. Next, we find in Philippians chapter 4 verse 13 the passage, "I can do all this through him who gives me strength." This passage teaches us that, with divine strength, we can overcome any obstacle. Elijah found this strength in his pain, and managed to transform barren soil into fertile land. When we connect with the universe and trust in our faith, we find the courage and determination necessary to face any challenge. Now, in closing, let's remember the passage in Matthew chapter 17 verse 20. He replied, "Because you have so little faith. Truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." This passage illustrates the power of faith. Elijah, with his unwavering faith, transformed his property and his life. When we believe and persist, even the most impossible tasks can be accomplished. Let's think. How can this divine presence transform your reality? Keep watching to discover the reflection made by Apollo and how this message can impact your life.
Elijah's story teaches us that, even in the darkest moments, there is always a light that can guide our steps. Elijah faced countless difficulties, but he never allowed negative words to shake his courage. He reinforced his strength in faith and perseverance after Isaac reminded him of the Lord's words, transforming barren soil into fertile land. This commitment shows us that when we connect with the universe and trust in our faith, we find the clarity and determination needed to overcome any obstacle. Elijah not only transformed his property, but also his spirit. He understood that true wealth lies in faith and perseverance. By creating a support center for other farmers, Elijah shared his knowledge and hope, becoming a source of light for those facing similar difficulties. Elijah's story is a powerful reminder that, even when everything seems lost, there is always a way out. The divine force that sustains the universes also dwells within us. When we connect with this force and act with kindness and love, we find the courage and determination needed to transform our lives and achieve our goals. We would greatly appreciate it if you could take a moment to like this video. This small action helps us continue to offer good messages and thoughts. Click the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, not forgetting to activate the bell so you don't miss our future posts. Your comments also mean a lot to us. If you find what we share useful, leave us your comments and interests. They are essential for us to serve you in future videos. Here, we will continue to strive, converse, and improve our encounters. In the description, you will find a sociological focus on what was presented in the video. If this video inspired you, there is another video on the screen now that will enhance your introspection on the topic. Thank you again for being here and for being part of Think Strong. These paths will continue towards the development and growth of our consciences. Stay attentive and dedicated, and we will see each other again soon.